Hello and welcome to English Stories with Louisa.
The longest drive-thru. Ever feel completely invisible? Like you're just another cog in a machine and a customer's rudeness is something you're just expected to endure? Well, in 1988, while working a boring drive-thru job, I had a moment of clarity. A guy in a fancy convertible thought he was too important to talk to me. He was about to learn a lesson about respect, one perfectly crafted order at a time. If you ever had a retail or service job and dream of getting a little revenge on a rude customer, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for a story that proves the smallest act of defiance can lead to the sweetest kind of justice. Let's travel back in time for a moment. The year is 1988. I'm a teenager, stuck in a fast food job at a local McDonald's. It was a rite of passage for many of us. You learn how to work a cash register, how to smile when you didn't feel like it, and how to deal with a never-ending stream of customers, most of whom were decent people just trying to get a quick meal. I spent most of my shifts in the drive-thru. It was a simple job, but it was all about efficiency. You had to greet the car, take the order, get the money, and pass out the food as fast as you could. Every second counted. I was good at it. I was fast, friendly, and I always made sure to acknowledge the person on the other side of the speaker. This was also a time of new technology. Cell phones were a new thing, a novelty. They weren't sleek and small like they are now. They were giant, bulky bricks with long antennas. Very few people had them, and they were a status symbol. But even back then, people had already figured out how to use them to be incredibly rude. The sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow over the parking lot. It was a busy evening, and the drive-thru line was a steady stream of cars. That's when he pulled up to the speaker. A guy in a sleek, red convertible. He was maybe in his late 20s or early 30s, sunglasses still on, even though the sun was fading. He looked like he owned the world. But what immediately caught my attention was a massive cell phone he had pressed to his ear. It was a literal brick, a heavy, black rectangle that looked more like a prop from a sci-fi movie than a communication device. He was talking on it, loud and completely oblivious. My job was to greet him, but I waited. I stood there, microphone in hand, waiting for him to pause his conversation. It was a matter of principle. I wasn't just a voice in a box. I was a person. He didn't pause. He didn't even seem to notice I was there. He just rattled off his order, a Big Mac, large fries, and a large Coke, without missing a beat in his conversation. He didn't say hello. He didn't wait for a response. He just barked his order into the box and immediately pulled forward, pulling up to my window as if his order was already magically placed. He stopped at the window, still on the phone, still talking. He held out his money without so much as a glance in my direction. He was looking straight ahead, as if I were just a set of hands. That was it. That was the moment. The anger that had been simmering just beneath the surface finally bubbled up. I felt in my chest a hot, tight knot of indignation. I wasn't a person to him. I was a transaction, a robotic extension of the drive-thru window. The dismissiveness was a punch to the gut, the complete lack of acknowledgement, the assumption that my job was to serve him instantly without so much as a basic human courtesy. I decided right then and there that I wouldn't reward that kind of behavior. The frustration faded, replaced by a cool, calm sense of resolve. My inner monologue was a single, defiant thought. You're going to acknowledge me. You're going to look me in the eye, and you're to treat me like a human being. I stood there, a patient, frozen smile on my face. I didn't say anything. I just stared at him, at his outstretched hand, and at his phone. The silence was probably awkward for the person on the other end of this call, but not for me. I had all the time in the world. He kept talking, his voice a low, confident murmur. He just assumed I was getting his order ready. He finally looked at me, a flicker of impatience crossing his face. I didn't say a word. I just waited. He sighed, annoyed, and finally, reluctantly, he took the phone from his ear. "What?" he said. His tone was sharp, aggressive. "Hello," I said, my voice as calm and sweet as possible, as if we had just begun our interaction. "Did you place an order?" He looked at me, confused. "Yeah, I did. A Big Mac, large fries, and a large Coke. I put on my best customer service face, the one I had perfected for difficult people. "I'm sorry, sir," I said, "but I don't have that order on my screen." He scoffed. "Yes, you do. I just ordered at the speaker." I leaned forward a little, my tone still impossibly polite. "Sir, when you ordered, did anyone acknowledge you? Did anyone repeat your order back to you or tell you pull forward?" He stared at me, his eyes narrowing. He was starting to realize what was happening. He didn't say a word. He just shook his head. "Then I'm afraid we never received your order," I said, my voice a perfect blend of fake sympathy and quiet triumph. "And since the next person's order is already pulled up on the screen, I can't take your order here at the window." He stared at me, his mouth slightly agape. He looked from my face to the car behind him, a small sedan whose driver was now getting impatient. He was completely trapped. "You'll have to go back around and get in line again to place your order," I informed him, a subtle smirk playing at the corner of my lips. He was silent. The humiliation was a palpable thing. I knew, and he knew, that I could have easily just taken his order right there. I could have rung it up on a different register, but that would have been rewarding his rudeness. And in that moment, I knew that wasn't an option. He looked back at the long line of cars that had grown behind him. There must have been 10 cars, stretching around the building. His convertible was a beacon of shame in a sea of impatient drivers. He had two options: either leave with no food or do exactly what I told him. He chose the latter. With a defeated sigh, he put his car in reverse, backed up, and went all the way around the building, getting back in the very back of the line. The rest of the shift, I felt like I was floating on air. Every car that passed, every order I took, was a testament to my small victory. When he finally pulled up the speaker again, I didn't have to wait. He spoke clearly, waited for me to repeat his order, and thanked me politely. He had learned his lesson. It was a small act, a simple moment of defiance in a fast food drive-thru. But for me, it was a profound victory. It was about respect, about dignity, and about proving that even in a menial job, you have power. You are not a machine. You are a person, and you deserve to be treated as such. If this story made you smile, smash that like button and tell us in comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And of course, subscribe for more stories like this.